Hey, my name is Kendrick, and so today I'm going to help you to complete Hack the Box starting point oopsie by fixing some of the commands that they left out or addressing some of the commands that actually are broken. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, here's the official guide, and it's available right from the main page. And so the first thing they want you to do is do an nmap scan. Open up Terminal and type nmap minus lowercase s uppercase s minus capital A 10/10/10/28. Press enter. It'll prompt you because you need elevated credentials, so you have to type sudo to elevate your credentials, and then Kali if you're using Kali Linux like me. And at this point, the command is going to run. What it's going to come back and show us is that ports 22 and port 80 are open. Port 80 is your HTTP, which is websites. And so that's where we're going to move to focusing on exploiting the website. And so what you want to do is open up your browser, and I'll let this run. It'll show exactly what they're showing in the guide, but we'll come back to it. So 10.10.10.28, press that. There's the website. In the meantime, our nmap scan is running and it's finished. As you can see, 22 is open. Port 80 is open. It shows Apache server, so that's how we know it's a website. We'll come back to that in just a moment. What you want to do is the nmap reveals the SSH and Apache are available on default ports. Let's check out the website. And then the website, it seems the website is for electronic vehicle manufacturer Megacorp. Scroll down and note the reference is made to logging in. What they want you to do here is this section right here, please log in and get access. Kind of a clue they want you to kind of pay attention to. That's why it's really good to go through the official guide. But we can't see anything of interest, so let's send a request to a web proxy such as Burp. We can examine the website in more detail. We point the browser to Burp Suite proxy 10.127. Okay, I'm going to do this right now. So in your web browser, which if you're using Kali like me, is Firefox, go to Preferences, take a shortcut, type proxy here, and then in proxy settings, let's set manual proxy 127.0.0.1 port 8080. Once you've done that, click OK. You can close the Preferences tab. And at this point, everything is directed to Burp Suite. So we need to open Burp Suite for it to work. So click on Applications in the top right-hand corner. Type Burp. DU is all you need. Burp Suite typically comes up. Give it a second to load, and I'm going to walk you through opening Burp Suite. Ignore the Java message. Give it just a second. Burp Suite does take a minute. Okay, so for this, it's going to say do not do the update. Go ahead and close that. Temporary project. That's fine. Click next. Use Burp defaults. Click start Burp Suite. This is all we need to do. Wait until this loads. And then the next step is we're going to get on the right tab and we're going to click refresh. And Burp is going to start to intercept requests from our website. So we're here. And so let's make sure it matches. All right, they're showing there on the target page. We really want to be on the proxy page. You want to make sure that intercept is turned on. That's very important because it's going to intercept every request from your machine. I'm going to move this over now. I'm going to refresh the page so you can see what happens. I refreshed it and you see, look at this. So Burp Suite captured, the website did not load because Burp Suite captured it before it could. So it says refresh the page. We've done that, and forward the request. Very important you pay attention to that. Click forward in Burp Suite right here. Once you click forward, look at the website, it loads. So every time you do this, Burp Suite is going to intercept it and then it's going to forward it. So now I want you to go to the target tab. It says we notice that Burp has passively spidered the website while processing the request. So it's got all the different information. This is what we're going to focus on next. The URL CDN CGI login seems interesting. Let's examine it in the browser. I'm going to copy this from the guide, but you also see you got it right here. And you can also copy it from here. CGI, CDN CGI login. So let's just copy it from right there, just in case you don't have the guide open. So it should be 10.10.10.8. Make sure there's no space / CDN-CGI login. And at this point, seems interesting. Let's examine it in the browser. And it wants you to press enter to go ahead and load that page. Burp Suite is going to capture that request just like it did before. Remember, go to the proxy page. Burp Suite has captured that. So we confirm this is a login page. Try to reuse the password. So in order for you to do this, we need to go ahead and forward the action. Click forward. There we go. So we're now one with the tutorial. It's all the requests have been forwarded. If this is blank, that means you let it go. Okay. Sometimes you have to forward it multiple times. We confirm that this is login page. Let's try to reuse the password. Now this is from hacking a Hack the Box archetype. Okay, we got this password in the previous tutorial, but we're going to copy this. All right, from the previously compromised machine, username such as admin or admin. So we're going to go ahead and do this. And remember, you have to forward the request. I can tell you for this box, it's not administrator, it's admin. And you're going to go ahead and paste that password. Click log in. Nothing happens. I'm not going to save this. The reason nothing happens is because Burp Suite has once again captured the request. So we have to, once we click enter, we have to go and forward this. Forward it again. Forward it again. Forward it again. All right, so we're now in the repair management system. Let's move down. So it says this was successful. We gained access to the web portal and it contains additional functionality. So once again, we're on track with the tutorial, and some things are going to start to mess up in just a little bit, but I'll walk you through them. Okay. All right. So once we get to this page, however, it seems the developer has implemented tiers of administration and the uploads page is further restricted to SuperAdmin. Let's examine the portal further and Burp. We refresh our accounts page. So this is important. Another thing to pay attention to. They say the accounts page. They don't tell you to go to the accounts page. They say refresh the accounts page. So when I did that, of course, Burp Suite captures it, which displays the user ID of a current user. So you're going to go ahead and capture that request. Don't forward it yet. All right. And so the user ID for our current user and intercept the request, we notice that what seems to be a custom cookie implementation comprised of user and role. We also notice the ID parameter, which is for our current admin, which for our current admin is 1. So this is the one, which is talking about the ID parameter. This is the user, and that's the role. This is what we're going to exploit in just a second. We're going to scroll down and you see we've captured, we're one with the tutorial right there. We've captured the same thing. It might be possible to brute force the ID values and display the user value for another user, such as the SuperAdmin account. We can do this using Burp Suite's intruder module. Click Control I to send the request to intruder. So come in here, click back on Burp Suite, press Control and I at the same time. Notice the intruder tab turned orange. It captured it. So make sure that happens. Now that you're on the intruder tab, let's get ready to go to the next request. So they're on intruder, but it shows that they went to the positions tab. So let's follow there. And it says, we press clear to remove the pre-populated payload positions. And what it's saying is, see how this is in blue right here, accounts, and the %I has already been highlighted. Burp Suite is already trying to identify parameters you can brute force. But what it wants you to do, it wants you to click clear right here to remove that. To remove the pre-populated payload positions, select the ID value of 1, click add. So it wants you to select ID equals 1, but just select the number 1, click add. And now what we're telling is we're going to brute force just this one part of that URL. Click next on the payloads tab. So click next on the payloads tabs. All right, so it wants you to move to the payloads tab. This is where we're going to configure the payload. And so then it says we can generate a sequential list of 1 to 100 by doing it. So I'm going to tell you this sequential list. I'm going to give you a cleaner way to do this. By the way, I don't think this command works. It's got some errors in syntax or something like that, because I don't know if it's because of it being in a PDF, but I ran it multiple times and it did not work. I'm going to give you one that's a little bit better. So go back to your terminal, and remember I told you we're going to keep this clean. File, new tab. We're going to start right here, and I'm going to do Control-Shift-B. So what I have is a command here for in single quote sequence space 1 base 100, semicolon. Sorry, single quote sequence, semicolons, single quote semicolon, do echo, and %1 done. But then what I'm doing at the end of this is I'm piping this to numbers.txt. So make sure you look at my syntax and make sure it matches. It's got it nice and color coded for you. Okay. So when I do this, it's going to output my file to numbers.txt. That's a little bit easier for you to see. Okay. But I'm going to do one thing before I do that. I'm going to change to the downloads folder on purpose because the download folder has permissions that allow you to do a lot more. So now I'm going to do Control-Shift-V. I'm going to paste this. Nothing happens except the file created numbers.txt. And when I'm going to take Mousepad, which is a program, a text editor in Kali Linux. You can use whatever you need to. Numbers.txt. And that'll open my list of numbers. Okay. Disregard the fact of double numbers because it's not double numbers. One is the actual line number and one is my list of random numbers. Okay. So that's all that is. I'm going to Control-A to copy. I could do a Control-C or do copy that way. And then I'm going to close this. All right. You see my command release. Now, at this point, you want to go back to Burp Suite and it wants you to paste the payload. You don't do that through the add, you do through the paste button. Click paste. It neatly puts all your numbers in there from 1 to 100. Now, once you pasted those numbers, it says next, click on the options tab and ensure the follow the options tab. Remember, we break this up, very methodical, and ensure the follow redirections is set to always and select the option to process cookies and redirections. That's actually at the very bottom of this page. So follow follow redirections, always. Process cookies and redirection, checked. Once we've done that, let's click on the target tab and then click start attack. You got two target tabs, not the main one, the one right here in intruder, right here at the bottom. Target, it's already got that pre-populated. Click start attack. Click OK to that message. It's just like, you don't have the full version. We're going to move to the next page in the tutorial. It's going to start to go down the list. This won't take long because for the sake of the tutorial, once again, Starting Point series is just to teach you. A few of the responses have a different length. So look at the length field. And what you want to do is, I'm going to wait till this gets to about 30 because I know number 30 is the one we're looking for. But we can proceed to examine them. The super admin account is visible and the corresponding user value is identified. So that's a lot. That's really quick, not a lot of explanation. So we know number 30. Well, I know number 30. So here's what you want to do. Scroll to the top, sort by length. Okay. And then scroll to the top first. And this is not sorted the right way. So we're going to make sure the biggest is at the top. So click length again. The arrow should be pointing down, meaning you're going in descending order. Click on the request right there, number 30. That's the one we're looking for. And then down here where it says request, click response. Then inside here, scroll down and they're showing a section right here. You see right there between there, they're showing like TD, BR, TR, TR, which are table tags in HTML. You're going to scroll down until you see those. And right in that section, once again, on 30, there it is right there. There's what we're looking for, that 86575. Super admin Megacorp right there. That's what they're showing. They got it spread out though. It doesn't, so it's a little bit different, but that's what you're looking for. The main thing you're looking for is this 86575. Control-C to copy that. And once you've copied that, it wants you to go back to the uploads page. So let's try to access the uploads page. Got to pay attention because this thing threw me off so many times. So right here in the menu, there's an uploads page. Click on the uploads page. Burp Suite is going to intercept that. So go to the top menu, not intruder, Burp Suite. Okay. And once we get back to Burp Suite proxy, and see, they're leaving out a lot of this, but we were back on the Burp Suite proxy where we're doing the intercept. And so substituting our value with the super admin, that's the value we just copied. So what they're showing is the 86575 that we just copied. I'm going to double click that to highlight it, Control-V, and I just replaced the user equals with A6575. And let's see. All right, so at this point, they want us to forward the request. So I'll forward that. I'm going to replace this one again. For some reason that we're going forward again. Got a lot of requests here. Looks like it just kept going. There we go. Sorry, I replaced it 3 times. Looks like the page refreshes on its own for some reason, but it did. So that gets us to the next section here. For this is successful, and we gain access to the uploads page, which allows branding images to be uploaded. It is possible for that the developer forgot to implement user input validation, and so we should test if we can upload other files such as PHP web shells. On Parrot OS, we can use PHP reverse shell user share web shells PHP. And so right now, you're probably saying, like, this is like, what the freak? All right, so I'm going to show you a quick trick. If you're on Kali Linux, which I hope you are, because this is specifically for people who are using Kali Linux, it's going to be, you don't have to be using it, but it's easier. See this location, user share web shells. This is actually on your Kali Linux VM already, if you're running a current version. So what we can do is ls, and I'm going to Control-Shift-V, and I'm just going to see if this actually exists, and see what that does. Shows me green. So this actually exists on your Kali Linux VM already. So all we have to do is do a simple step. So we can do a sudo, just to be safe. But we'll try without sudo. So we'll say copy cp Control-Shift-V. That's the file name. Space, and we need to name it. Yeah, I know this already because I've done it a few times. Test.php, and we're already in the downloads folder. If that command works, like ls, and guess what? There's our test.php file. Really simple, really straightforward, really clean. But I'm going to go back up here because so now we have our reverse shell created. After changing created, we actually copied it. We need to modify it. So after changing the IP and port values, we upload the file. So let's stop here. This is where we are. So in order to do that, we're going to do mousepad and test.php. But let's do sudo because the permissions won't allow you to edit it unless you sudo. When we do that, mousepad opens up. And we need to make one change. We need to change this IP. Right now it's set to a loopback address to point to the local machine. We need to put that to our tunnel address and hack the box. Open up a new tab and let's type ifconfig tun0. That gives you your tunnel address minus 10.10.16.14. Copy that. Control-Shift-C. Let's minimize that. And let's just Control-V since we're in the text editor. Click File, Save, and we're done in mousepad. We are using 234 already, 1234 as our listener, so that's already correct. So we can now close the mousepad window. We don't need to do anything else to keep our work area clean. So we've changed the IP address. The port value didn't need to be changed. We upload the file, capture the request, substitute the user value as before, and forward. They said a lot. Essentially what they're saying is, let's go back to intruder, capture this ID again. That's why we leave intruder open, okay? 86575. Go back to the web portal, click browse, select test.php, and make sure you pay close attention before you do this, okay? Click the upload button. It's going to prompt us. Remember, we got to change this user ID to give us the admin privilege just to do it. I forward the request. The file was successfully uploaded. Okay, that's good. So now that we've done all of those requests in this, let's go to the next section. We're getting close to the end. Page text reports the upload was successful, but we don't know where the reverse shell was uploaded to. Let's enumerate the web server for common directories using the directory search. got a link there. If you can go up there, you can go read up on that if you want to. For the sake of this exercise, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to copy this command. These commands work fine. Go back to our terminal, new tab, Control-Shift-V, press enter. Okay, so we're going to do a sudo on this. See, password Kali already exists. Let's look here. So let's go to, also what I'm ran into is I'm not in the downloads folder. Every time you create a new terminal, mine is not defaulted to the downloads folder. So let's go to downloads. And this is what I said, the downloads folder has permissions that allow you to do whatever you need to do. There we go. Now let's press the up arrow a couple times. Sudo git clone, there's our command. And let's run that command again. It's reaching out to GitHub. It's downloading this folder and putting it on our machine. Really nice and slick way to do it. I type ls first just to make sure it's there. It's there in blue right here. I'm going to type cd dir search. Press the tab key or the right arrow to go to the end of the command. Make sure this is doing the work for me. All right, now we're in the folder. I'm going to clear my screen, then type ls. So now we want to run this Python 3 command. We can copy this command because it's formatted and works fine. So copy that, Control-Shift-V, press enter. This may not work well, not writable. Okay, so let's do sudo, same command, and let's see if we have, yep, there it is. So what it's doing now is it's enumerating the entire website. It's going down, going through, marking all the pages and stuff like that. This is what we're going to use the knowledge from this command to exploit the website. So it says it identifies an upload directory, which we know somewhere our file is getting uploaded to. And we can use our listener and trigger a reverse shell using curl. Okay. So see right there, page came up. We're going to forward here, just to keep the Burp Suite clean. So you don't want to issue this just yet. So it wants to trigger the reverse shell. So we need to create a reverse shell, which you learned in the first exercise. So in order to do that, let's go back to our terminal. Guess what we're going to do again? New tab. So you see the process here. And so we're going to type netcat minus lbnp1234. So we're using netcat, which creates a listener on our machine. So when we access the website is going to reach back to our machine, give us a connection, and it'll allow us to be able to run commands on a web server using a file we uploaded previously. So let's do this. All right, I'm going to move here. So you can see that. I want you to see that command. And actually, I think, can I break this out? Okay, I got my netcat listener. I'm going to open a new terminal because I want you to see the curl command. Okay, so I want you to see it execute together. So let's shrink this up just a little bit. Open this one. Let's copy the curl command because that command works correctly. Okay, it doesn't want to copy. It's being a kind of farty. There we go. Control C. All right, make sure I'm going to shrink this down so we can see both screens. All right, Control-Shift-V to paste that curl command. I'm going to execute the curl command. Did not work. All right, so let's do this again. Let's do a sudo. See if I can get that to work. All right, so this is telling me the file is not there. We're going to go back again. If you run into this issue, no problem. Just go back. Browse, select your test file again. Press the upload button. You got to go to Burp Suite. Remember, go to Responder or Intruder, I'm sorry. Copy this ID again. Go back to Burp Suite. Replace the user ID. Control V. Forward. And that's all we need to do. Go back to the website and it was uploaded successfully. So if you run into that issue, that's a quick fix. Now let's go back to our terminals so we can see both. Up arrow, sudo curl command, running that again. Give it just a second to complete and do its business. We know the file is there. We know the listener is up. And at some point when it finishes loading, it should give us some kind of response and we should see the netcat listener come up and we have a connection. And sometimes this is indeed slow, but we know that we did everything correct up until this point. All right, and while that's going, I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead, make sure we got everything. Pro looks good. Let's make sure we don't have anything in Burp Suite holding up. No, Burp Suite is fine. All right, so give it just a second. This is interesting, taking a little longer than normal on this request. All right, I'm going to Control C this. That took a little too long. I'm just going to try it. Oh, I got it. That's funny. It worked. Wow. So I guess I just wasn't patient enough. If you look down here, there it is. We got our reverse shell connection. That's good. It had me worried, had me sweating. So now that we have the reverse shell, that's working. We landed. So it's telling us, and we can do type ID. And this is where it's setting up the Netcat listener. I already did that. So I kind of like put that all in together. But I'm trying to see if you type the ID command, what it does is lets you know we're at using the www-data account. That's who we're logged in as now. Here's some things I'm going to modify, so pay special attention. This first command is fine. You can copy that command. Control-Shift-V, can't do. There we go. Okay, that is. I'm going to press enter there. I'm going to stop here. Okay, pay special attention. Do not press Control-Z on your keyboard. This process breaks. Control-Z actually pauses your remote connection, your remote shell, okay? And FG reinstates it after you run that command. But when you do it, it fails, it breaks. It broke every time for me, so I advise you not to do it. So while you do this, you actually have the permissions. So we're going to skip this, omit this portion of the tutorial and move on to the next portion because we have another way to do it that's even cleaner. The website records probably retrieved from the database, so it's a good idea to check the database connection information. Indeed, so the db.php file does contain credentials. So we can SU Robert to move laterally. Okay, so let's do what this is saying. So we're going to type ls right now to look at the directories, okay? But it wants us to look at ls, and it wants us to look at var www.html cdn-cgi/login. Press enter. And what it's going to show us is there, and I'm going to go ahead and move the curl command down. I don't think I need that anymore unless I need to reestablish my connection. So this will run, once again, it sometimes runs slow, but it's going to come back and show us there's an admin PHP, DB PHP, index PHP, and script.js. We're going to look inside the db.php file by using the cat command. And the cat command is basically used to display the contents of a file. Okay. And so when this comes back, we'll be able to see it. So see, what did we do? All right. I have no idea what just happened there. I'm going to do this again. Log in. Control-Shift-C. Control-Shift-V. Enter. Cannot. No such file or directory. All right. So let's see where we are. Oh, you see what happens? We actually lost our connection. So somebody might have reset the server. So that's going to cost us a little bit, but that's no problem. This may happen to you. It's good that you see this. You simply go back. I do it this way. Click upload. Burp Suite comes in. Remember, go to intruder. Click this. Copy that. Go back to Burp Suite. Replace the ID. Paste there. Forward to request. That gets the file back up. Go here. Now we've got to reestablish our remote shell. Okay, this is part of it. It happens. Unfortunately, it costs time in this video, but all right. So that's why I left my curl command up, because I've been through this before. Let's go back to where I created my Netcat listener. believe it was right here. So easiest thing to do, let's just do netcat right there. Actually, I'm going to clear this up. Let's clear all this stuff out. So there's our netcat listener again. Here's our curl command. There's our remote shell. We're back. So now we have to go back up again. Now that we have our connection, remember where ID is going to be wdata. www ID is www.data. So we need to type this shell command, and this will get us back on track. So copy that, Control-Shift-V, enter, and now we're here. So simply at this point, now we should be able to type ls var www html cdn cgi login. Press enter and access is no such file or directory. Okay, so let's check my syntax. Ls var, I had 4 W's, www cdn cgi login. Still can't access it. Okay, so for me, when I see that, it's like, okay, what's the deal? So I'm going to try ls to see where I am. cd var ls cd www cd cdn cgi. So when I see this, oh, I'm skipping one, HTML. Okay, so I'm messing up. So ls var www html cdn cgi login. Okay, now it shows us we have admin PHP, index, and script.js. So at this point, it wants us to cat var www html cdn cgi login db.php. And this provides us with a connection string. You want to copy this out, put this in a text file. But here are the credentials, Robert, and here's Robert's password. I already have this saved, but you definitely need to document that somewhere. You can even open Mousepad here at the top, right there, and you can copy that in there if you want to. Okay. But now once we have the credentials, we can use su to get in Robert's account. So let's do that. su Robert. There's a command. Press enter. And then the password that we just copied out, which is Megacorp user, exclamation point. Copy that. Control-Shift-V to replace that. Make sure you don't forget the exclamation point. And we're in as Robert now. Before you go anywhere, the first flag, you're right by it. So cd / I believe it's home / Robert. Press enter. ls to user.text. Type cat user txt. There's the first flag. There it is. So there, that is the user flag. There are 2 flags on these servers. Now that we have that, we can go on to the next position in the tutorial. So we can su to Robert to move laterally. So we got all of this, and we're at the very end of the tutorial. The ID command reveals Robert is a member of the bug tracker group. So let's go ahead and type. I'm going to bring this up higher. I can minimize my curl command for now. Hopefully it won't disconnect me again. So type ID that says users Robert groups 1001 bug tracker. That's the group that Robert is in. So we can enumerate the file system to see if this group has any special access. So we're going to use this find command, find / -type f -group bug tracker. Take your time and type it correctly. Okay, you see how mistakes have hindered me. Dev null. Press enter. All right, I'll type this. Give this a second to run. Okay. All right, so it says user bin bug tracker. So we want to do ls-al /user bin bug tracker. Press enter. So what this is doing is telling that we're looking at the permissions on the file. It's emphasizing a set UID, and that's the S. This was what the S enters. So you typically have read, write, execute, W, R, X. But you have this S, which is a set UID, which it somehow, and I remember this from class, it somehow assigns permissions to a group. And so what they're essentially doing is we're going to exploit the permissions of this set UID because it assigns certain, I think, elevated permissions to a group. And we're going to kind of piggyback off of that. Don't hold me to that. So sorry if I got that wrong. Somebody smarter than me or who remembers, tell me, feel free to chime in. But there's a bug tracker binary, and the set ID and the set UID, but is set. Let's run it and see what it does. So what we want to do at this point, we're going to type /usr bin bug tracker. We're going to run this file. It then asks us for a bug ID. Type 1, press enter, and it comes back, and it does not give us access. It seems to output a report based on the ID value provided. Let's use strings to see how it does this. So the strings command, it takes an executable file and it looks inside the command for readable words. So we can type strings /usr bin bug tracker. Press enter. And now there's a cleaner way to do this. Just going to show you, but once you know what you're looking for, but we don't know what we're looking for, but we look and we see a cat command. So we see that it calls a cat binary using this relative path instead of the absolute path. By creating a malicious cat and modifying the path to include the current working directory, we should be able to abuse this, okay? And escalate our privileges to root, okay? So we're abusing the fact that it's using a relative path, and we can point this to where we need it to be and take advantage of it and exploit this. So these commands you need to run exactly as they are. So let's type them out. Export, capital path. Make sure you pay attention to punctuation in case. TMP : $path. Okay, that looks good. CD /temp/ change to the directory. Echo. And when you see anybody doing, by the way, as a defender, you're looking for stuff like this. ECHO single quote /bin /sh single quote space greater than space cat. That command worked. And then chmod change mode +X, making this executable cat. Press enter. Okay, responder stripping. I'm not going to do anything responder because I don't want to mess myself up. Okay, I'm going to leave that. Press enter. That should have done it. So now when we run the bug tracker command, it's going to execute and it's going to give us root /administrator privileges. So type /usr bin /bugtracker bug tracker. Remember, ID is 1. Comes back. We got a pound sign. Looks like we got root. Type ID to check it. And we do have root privileges. There we go. We just escalated to root. Post exploitation. By the way, we need the other flag. Where's the other flag? So type ls cd /root. Press enter. Ls. Guess what? There's your root.txt. Type sudo cat root.txt. There's your next flag. Go and implement that flag. Submit that to hack the box. You should know how to submit flags by now. But just in case you don't, right here, click on the server name, click on the icon of the server when you're in the list. Click submit flag that pops up. Put the flag in, make sure you give it a rating here, and then submit flag. I've already submitted this flag, so I can't submit it again. See right there. And so that's almost it, but wait. No, you don't want to stop here. Most people are going to try to tune out right here in the video. You're going to miss the most important part. Guess what we're missing? We don't know the password for root. We have root permissions, but we want to steal the password. That's what we do as hackers. We want to be thorough, okay, or pen testers. We want that password. So what it's telling us, inside the roots folder, we see a config folder which contains a FileZilla config file. This is where it gets a little bit interesting. For those of you that want the extra credit, we're at 40 minutes. I'm going to go all the way this time. So I'm going to type ls, and I'm going to do find pipe grep and FileZilla. Get all of it, and actually see if this works. Might not work. So, ooh, look at here. So see right there, /config FileZilla. /config FileZilla. So if I do a sudo cat and see if I can actually copy this. Well, we're looking, no, we need to move to that directory. So cd /config/ if I can do that. Looks like it worked. FileZilla.xml file. Sudo cat. Did we get anything? Password. Hey, there's the password. FTP user. Go ahead and copy this out. Congratulations. You just went all the way. Got everything. We got all the flags. We have the passwords. By the way, Control-Shift-C to finish this up. I'm gonna throw this in my text file over here. Hope this video was helpful. It's a little bit longer, but this is what I took. I went through every step. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm going through every box on Hack the Box if I can. I'm trying. All right, thanks for watching.